real estate finance, comprehensive question. We're not entirely sure what's going to be on this, but he did mention in class that there would be both a contract issue and a due diligence issue. So, beginning with the contract issue, we need to ask ourselves obviously who we're representing. That's going to change. We're going to have documents based on who our client is. We're going to have a buyer, form, pro forma, we're going to have a seller pro forma, default form. So we'll go from there. If you're representing the seller, you want, obviously a tight contract that the buyer cannot get out of, just because. But if you are representing the buyer, you're going to want every contingency you can think of. So, they have a way out of it if they want to. So common contingencies are going to be, financing. You don't want the obligation to purchase if you can't get a loan if you're a buyer. Sale of current home, buyer, you're going to want this sale contingent only on buying home if the buyer can sell their current home. You're going to have title contingency, so you're only interested in buying if the seller can render good title to the property. Earnest money, you want the right to get it back if the sale doesn't go through. Shows the buyer is serious about buying the property and is used as a form of consideration. When is it refundable? And you're going to specify when will the buyer get it back if the contract is terminated for any reason. Next, you're going to want a free look, due diligence period. So for commercial contracts, buyers can back out of a contract during this time without any financial penalty. You are going to want to ask yourselves what we are concerned about financially with the transaction to figure out what contingencies you're going to want to contract for as a buyer. For due diligence issues, when assisting in investment real estate, what are some things to analyze? You are going to want any contract we have needs to include a due diligence period to do all investigations related to the property. On the buyer side, you're going to have as many contingencies as possible so that they can get out of the contract if that comes up. Also, you're going to want seller representations and warranties, so you can say the seller breached if those warranties or representations turn out not to happen or be true. On the seller side, you're going to want to have as few contingencies as possible, so it's harder for the buyer to back out of the contract.